And the other day, I went to the store and I was at this ATM machine, and right above me was a TV screen. Usually I never look at myself in those TV screen things, like if I know that there's one next to me. And I just wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't even realize that was what it was or whatever. And so I'm standing there waiting for my thing, the next question or whatever. And I look up and I see myself on this screen, and it is like a whole bunch of different screens. So you're still really small. So you can't make out details, especially with my eyes. But it was a black and white screen, and I couldn't quit staring at myself. I swear to God, I was like a weirdo. I couldn't quit staring at myself because it was so extreme with my hair. And it was black and white. So it was like this side looked, all my hair looked totally black except for this, but it was so extreme looking in this picture or in this screen, and I just kept standing there staring at myself. And it was like, I don't know, I was just thinking about that this morning, because like this side is so white, and if I even try and put this side and then leave this side down, this side is just heavy. It won't stay. It's like totally different. And I know it has something to do with the swirl thing. So I don't know. But anyways, I was just thinking about that. Didn't really have, no, I'm just going to be all over the place. Yeah. And another thing too, and it's funny because like if I turn a certain way, like the reflection will make my skin look more red, just like something with the screen, the way it does the colors, and make your teeth look more yellow. And I've seen other people, like I've noticed, I've really started looking, but I did buy the purple toothpaste. It's not here yet, but I was like, I'm still going to try it. It's supposed to, I was watching the thing and it made sense to me about the purple goes over the yellow, and yellow and purple together make white. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's what it was showing in their little study things. And I don't know. So I'm going to try that. I'll let you know about that. I gave that hair removal thing to my daughter. The one daughter I gave it to, she said, well, she didn't know if the one who wasn't speaking to me would want anything to do with it. I was like, okay, well, you can take it, because she's the one who goes and pays for all the expensive electrolysis anyways. I was like, try this thing. And so, but anyways, yesterday, my mom asked me something, and I sent a video, and her whole thing was my red face. And, it kept harassing me while I was there, my red face, which I think part of the redness was probably the heat and the sun. Because the first day that I sat out, it was totally cloudy, and I just sat outside. I just like to lay out there next to the pool, and it's just something I like to do, next to the sun. But under the sun, even if it's under the clouds next to the pool, you just absorb the warmth and the heat, and there's still stuff that comes through because you still got sunburn. But anyways, so my face got really red from the very beginning. It was red, and I wasn't putting on sunblock or any of that stuff. I kept putting more oil, because I kept putting the castor oil and the black seed oil mixture I had, and I kept putting that on my skin. And because it's supposed to be good for inflammation, it's supposed to be good for your skin. And so that's how I kept thinking of it. If I was home, I would have probably put aloe vera from my plant. But since I wasn't, that's all I had. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to go back out in the sun and put more oil. Is that? But I kept, I just kept hearing loud about, oh my gosh, as the first time this has ever happened. This isn't just like a frequency. This is like weird. Oh my God, that was the weirdest one I've ever had. It was like all of a sudden this ear went deaf. I couldn't hear anything out of it. And then all of a sudden it came up, and it was like, when you have a tuning fork, and you have a tuning fork and then you pull it up close to your ear. That's what it was like. Oh my God, that's weird. It still has a weird sensation in it. Oh my God, that's weird. I get like the frequencies and stuff, and they'll stab in sometimes, like painful. That was weird, man. That was weird. And it is weird too. It's like, how does it do it like to one? Like, it's so weird if you think about like what we are and what this place is. And that was the one cool thing too that I was getting to talk to my grandson about, because he sees this as a hologram as well. And he sees it, like, it doesn't freak him out. He sees it like me, like, I mean, how fucking trippy. Like, you can come, I think it's far more fantastic that our higher self can put its focus into an energy that's birthed in to a reality to have an experience, and that it can still stay where it is but still gain like knowledge and perception from the experiencer. So anyways, I don't know. I find that really fantastic. And we were talking about that, and it was like, it's so trippy because how even something that you don't know can still affect you, like the breathing in the poisons and all that stuff, how that can still affect us and make us sick, even if we don't have any idea about it. And so that trips me out. Like, I've talked about that before too. There's so many things that are so trippy. But anyways, so I kept doing the oil on my face. And so my face was really, really super, super red. And I kept doing it the whole time. After, and at the third day, I was trying to not have my face in the sun. I was really kicking myself for not have taken a hat with me. Because I sat there, had a whole conversation about the hat. And I was like, no, I'm going to keep it here because I'm probably going to wear it somewhere when I go. And I didn't take any. I just got her all these new scarves for her drool. And so I got all these new ones. And then I forgot. I don't know. Sometimes I just do weird shit. And so anyways, when I did this video to my mom, so to me, my face is so improved at this point, like yesterday. Like today, I can see how much it's improved from yesterday. And like, even though it looks like there's a big red, like it's not as red. It is something with the color camera thing. A lot of the redness is gone out. It still feels like tender, but it's just not as red as it was at all. And it's not peeling, but it feels dry. But I keep putting stuff on it to see, if I can do it without peeling. It definitely is not going to have blisters or anything. But it's just so crazy how everybody is just like, you should have wore sunblock. And my mom is just like sending horror face. Like, oh my God, your face is so red. What has happened? And it's just like, it's way better. I'm not even thinking like, they just looking that red, like how the reaction is from other people. And I was thinking, it's so ingrained into us. And it made me think back this morning about the first time I went and I got my kids sunburned when they were little. And I can't remember how old they were. It was the hugest fucking ordeal you wouldn't believe. You would think that I had taken them to an alligator pit and one of them got a foot chewed off or something. Like, it was crazy how people acted because my kids got sunburned. And, I grew up in the South, but, we were always at the lake, and there was before sunblock, and we were always out getting, we were always getting sunburned all the time, and peeling and everything. And and I was thinking about this even because when my face was so red, and sometimes I'm seeing, even the other day I did a detox bath, and I put a peel, one of those face mask things, but it's a peely one. It was the only one I had, and it kind of hurt, so I always put it really, really light because it feels like it's taking your skin off anyways. But I always think, well, it's probably doing some good for my skin, so I'm gonna do it. And because I do stuff like scrub my face and stuff, I don't act like, oh, my face, better not touch it barely. Oh, I scrub it and you rub it and stuff. I don't act like it's gonna die. And so I'll scrub it with a washcloth. I'll use a scrub and scrub it and stuff, because you got to get off the old dead skin. And so I was thinking, I bet you, the sunburn, when I see these people go in and get these weird chemical peels and shit, and it's taken off the top of their skin. Well, how is that different than having the sun do it naturally and burn your skin? And then that top layer peels off. And then you have the fresh new skin underneath as the start of a new season. And then I was just thinking it's just weird because we kind of get into this idea that, yeah, go in and get a chemical peel. That's cool. But fuck, go out and get a sunburn. Like, damn, you crazy ass bitch. Like, what the hell are you doing out there? And it is crazy because it's like it's so programmed into people that the sun is dangerous, and you need to hide yourself or you're going to be turned into a cancer ball. And I had some conversations too. What was that one? Because because the kids give me a hard time about smoking, not smoking weed so much, but when I have said about the cigarettes. And I haven't even smoked a cigarette, I mean, in my whole fucking life. I barely smoked any cigarettes in my whole life. And even when I had those ones that were in the fridge for so long, and I would smoke one every once in a while, or well, I would try and smoke one. It was hard as shit. I could smoke a couple puffs. It would take a while to smoke one cigarette. But it would be like I'd feel these electronic shocks in my body, and where I had seen that has something to do with that can be a symptom of venom. And so that is when I would use one of those, and that would make it stop. And so it didn't stop every single thing. Like, I don't remember it stopping every single thing, but I know for sure one time I remember smoking specifically because of that and being like, that did work. Yeah, because, this is one thing too, because, my ex, what I talked about, like, we're we're opposite ends of everything, which can be really good for kids. I mean, I would think it's better for kids than having two parents that are exactly the same, just brainwashing you. I mean, because then that's where you come up with these families where you have like this cult, and even where the guy is taken on a second wife and the other wife's okay, and then their kids don't know how to read and write and stuff like that. So it is the stuff that you need to have, and you got to have, even if somebody doesn't agree with somebody else, is in a relationship, doesn't agree, they still have to be strong enough to stand up to that person when things are out of balance, because they can be out of balance in you, but then the next step is out of balance in your relationships. And so that is the micro-macro, that is the expansion. So if you're out of balance, of course, everything else is going to become out of balance because it's showing you, and you got to start bringing it into balance. And that's why it's a process to go and get everything into balance. But so you have these people. So it isn't necessarily, I mean, it's very unlikely that they would be completely on the same wavelength and agree on everything. But it would be that one is more overshadowing the other, and the other is willing to put itself aside for out of fear, safety, whatever it is. That so that is, the whole thing is out of balance, and the whole thing is always showing you it. And these toxic relationships that we've been so accustomed to for so fucking long, it is so much as when you go to your review and you go in and you look and you see this stuff, that is where people always think like, oh, I know I could do better. I'm gonna do better. And the way people talk about reincarnation and stuff, it just is like, you guys are taking this way too serious. You take the whole thing way too serious. It is, I mean, it isn't, to me, I don't think it's much different than sitting here flipping channels looking for a movie to watch. Is like the same thing as reincarnation. You just go in there for a minute, you go in there for however long in order to play your part. And it's just like what I keep saying, it's just like a book of a library full of books of stories where there's all different characters. Only it's like your soul group goes and scatters about and plays all the different characters and all the different books so that you guys can all understand the different sides of yourself. so you can see. And then besides understanding yourself, it also expands yourself into more development because you have more understanding. That's what I was telling my daughter. It's lucky when you have parents that are two different ends, because look at all of the space you have to fill in to find, like to resolve these two polar opposite perspectives. And so anyways, but he's very science, technology, and stuff like that. But I mean, my messaging before I went was so strong, and just be true to yourself. Don't hide yourself. Just be yourself. And so, I said, even if I was going to be laughed at or whatever, I would still say whatever I thought. And so, something with devices get brought up, and I'll say the studies that I've seen and about kids and development and stuff like that. And it's all things that somebody who's really techie and really into science and stuff like that, see, they don't want to see those sides of the coin. They just want to see the other side. And so I didn't stop, and we got along. There was a few things that I would say he would go like, oh no. But one of the big one was plastic bottles, because he was going on, because he's very much about the system, like, what a good job, when they make people do recycle. And this is where the one daughter he was saying something, and he goes, well, that won't work. I mean, mom doesn't believe that or something like that. And he's like, what? And she goes, she doesn't believe in climate change. And I don't know I'm sure he's heard that before. And, but somehow what didn't become the conversation. The conversation became something about the plastic bottles and recycling or something, because I'm sure that was more what he had going on in his mind. He wasn't like, well, we don't talk about her or what she thinks. We don't care about that. So let's talk about the recycle bottles. And but I'm very opinionated about that. And then she was like, yeah, well, mom doesn't believe and recycle, or whatever it was that she said then. And she's the one I said who really forces me to put up boundaries and stuff. She's always she's always the one who will take something, throw it out, and let's see what everybody says. Like, she is such a fucking instigator. But and I used to see it as like, when I wasn't healed, it's like, what the fuck are you trying to do? Just get everybody to attack me or something? Now I see it as like, she gives you an opportunity to see yourself, to, not hide, to challenge yourself, because how many times can you think something and just like, I'm not going to say anything, like, fuck it, let them talk about what you want. And, but she'll give you that opportunity to express yourself. So it's, it can seem like harsh or something. Like, when you're not healed, it can irritate the fuck out of you. But when you're healed, then I just look at it differently. I look at relationships with all of the people so differently than I did before, when I used to see them as triggers. Now when I see them as lessons, I try and look at things as lessons and see the souls as giving me opportunities. So anyways, but I did say, because he was saying all this stuff about plastic, and that is what the one thing they do recycle. And I was like, what? And then he started telling me in Spokane, they just gather it all. They don't separate it. And I was like, I've been there a lot of times. They separate. And I started going through. It's very specific. Like, you have to separate every colored glass, every consistency of paper. Like, everything is very separate. Like, they've got guys standing out there policing you. Like, they make you, like, it's very much, like, you have to go from bin to bin and put each thing in each bin. And because he was saying it was all just dumped in a thing, and then Spokane just burns all the garbage. And I was like, no, that's not true. And so, anyways, then he was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I was like, yeah, I've been there a bunch of times. So we had that conversation. And then he goes, well, with the plastic, those are meant to be recycled. because, you know, they give you the recycle 3, 4, 5, or whatever the fuck on their bullshit shit. It's just another fucking thing. I swear to God, I can't even believe how people just accept everything plastic. Like, things used to be in glass. This plastic is so these motherfuckers can make money, and you can't do anything with the plastic. And that was my point. That's what I was trying to say. And he kept trying to say that plastic was good, and they recycle it. And then so I'm like, no, they can't even burn it. Like, how do you think they recycle it? Like, does he think like they melt it back down? Because that puts out toxic chemicals. And even with the plastic shit that they give us, they say, oh, don't reuse it. Oh, don't. And even with our Tupperwares and shit, now to find out it's seeping or leaking out certain toxins the whole time. Like, plastic is super, these rubbers, it's all this petroleum based bullshit that, I mean, everything comes from these same motherfuckers always want to make money. And another thing too that I was really seeing is, their whole thing, you know, about how to create this world. Because I was thinking about how the world is really like the movie Hostel, like on a larger scale. And then I was thinking hostile and hostile. And I was thinking, that's weird. So hostile, you know, being hostile towards somebody is completely different than going to a hostel. And I was like, and they're not spelled the same, but I was like, I always am like, that's just still weird. And it's kind of like this world, like our ecosystem, like not our ecosystem, but our habitat, our environment that they have created for us is very hostile, just like in the Free Guy. And it reminds me of a hostel because it's so controlled and we're so on top of one another. And it is, but what I was thinking about too was like that, you know, how they want to keep us in fear and all of that strife and anger and all of these really intense emotions, these energy where you're putting out so much energy. Like, I'm constantly trying to catch myself. If I start getting frustrated about something, like, you know, opening a curtain and everything falls or whatever the fuck, and you want to just lose your mind, that is the shit. And you got to realize too, you have these little things, these little energies down there that do this shit, knock shit down and stuff, because there is this bigger feed off of us energetically. But I don't think, I mean, I know that there's beings that are down here feeding off our energy, just like there's beings that go into the forest and feed off of us. And you got to realize, because it's an energy. And so then when okay, let me think about what I was going to say, because I keep picturing this gross ass stuff. So when the energy all of this energy is down here feeding off of all of our energy, it is feeding more of the universe, you know. So I mean, energy begets energy. Like I keep seeing more people talking about now, like we don't need to eat food. That is, and I think it's probably part of the parasites demanding us to eat or something. Is I start getting really, really nauseous, and weak. Like, I'll start feeling shaky. But talking more and more about the energy that we get from light and it's like the prana, the energy that's out there once we learn how to, you know, use it. Like those people, I don't know what they're called. I think they're called brethren. But the people who started being that a religion, it's been going on for a while, a long while. And they're all still, I mean, I don't know, maybe they're not all still alive, but there's still people alive who have been doing it for a long time. And it's just using sun and air and the energy around us. So, you know, not eating for energy. So anyways, I was thinking about all these beings that are on us, you know, sucking the energy, and that is like how they want to keep us traumatized and keep us stressed out and stuff like that. Because what they're making off of that, I think, that is like selling our energy to other beings that need the energy. Because you think like a being, you know, and I don't know how our whole universe or our galaxy works, you know. I don't know that there's any confinement, and everything, to me, it's like we're in this vast ocean in the depth of the different levels. And so, and everything is kind of more out, like it's not out like that way, it's more out from us. But it's all around us, but it's all just different frequencies and stuff like that. But we can travel, but see, it's still maps, even the way they show and stuff. Because when I am traveling, I just know the whole time is like, we're traveling because this is what we think we have to do. We don't have to do that. I just know we don't. And I know that we go through portals and shit all the time. And I don't think that our realities are connected like how we think. I think things are a lot more disjointed under this dome, but it's us all coming together. But that's why all of this Mandela effects and all of these weird things, because realities are not all the same, even what we're finding out with time and calendars and stuff. But I think that they somehow sell our energy or something, and maybe that is partly why they've been able to continue for so long. And you know what? Another thing I've been seeing so much footage about is giants and really strange looking people interacting with just regular people. Like, we're, a lot of the regular people seem so small. So it wasn't that long ago where we had giants and stuff around us. And then, you know, other strange beings. Like, there was a whole bunch of pictures of these men who look like Bigfoot. And so I think it was probably, you know, there was times where the scientists didn't want to just try and study everything and compete with God and stuff like that. Like, people just lived and did their thing and accepted the different creatures or beings that were around them. It is something all about control and seeing. It's where those people know those things are around, so they know that they can make scary stories and keep people, like in that movie The Village, like that M. Night Shyamalan, you know, his thing, because Village is so pertinent to our existence, I swear to God, because it's all contained, and fear is used to contain us. And so my stomach's growling like crazy. See what I mean? It'll growl and growl and growl and growl. And then I will also start feeling like super nauseous and stuff. So I don't know. That's why I keep saying, like, I'm drinking some diatomaceous earth right here in my tea too, and some boron. And I looked up more about the boron in the dogs. And a lot of them says that dogs don't need it because it should be in their diet or the soil or something. But if you use it, just don't use a whole bunch, because it is still something that they need. But since she has all the arthritis and stuff, so I'm just going to cut back a little where I thought I needed to give her a little more. I'm going to give her a little less. But one of the things I saw last night, and I don't know how many people know about this, but mold is a neurotoxic thing that can kill your dog. And I mean, I'm sure I have like mold around here. I live like in the wood, and like even on the windows from the moisture after the winter. And when my daughter was here, and she can see good, she'd show me like, oh my gosh, look at, there's mold on the windows and how moist it is in the window. And and she always was talking about the smell, the mildewy, moldy smell in here. And it's in a little wood cabin in the woods, where it's real moist. And I see that there's problems with the wood stuff, because it feels like my house is falling down into the pit of hell of this water flood zone place that they won't stop watering. But anyways, but the video I was seeing, this girl was talking about, I think, some kind of moldy food. She said, do not feed your dogs moldy food, but her dog had eaten some moldy and almost died. But it was doing a lot of the same things Stella's doing, so that's why I was paying attention. Her back legs were just like, Stella's back legs just like tremor. And I always think, oh my gosh, her muscles are so sore, strumming. And it could be her back. It could be she has a pinched nerve or something in her back, and that's why she has such flare-ups. And that's why I try and do the massages and stuff to relax the muscles, because I know she walks all, and that will get you muscle spasms and whatnot. And so when you limp around and shit, and you cause your other, like you limping for one hip, then the other hip is going to start hurting. So is the best thing to do is figure out like what it is that hurts, and then start doing like yoga stretches and stuff, and start trying to get more activity and more strength and stuff in the place, and keep stretching. Like I show her, but I mean, I know she can't figure everything out I say, and my daughter thinks like I'm totally wacky to sit there and say that I talk way too advanced to her to begin with. But I'm telling you, the shit that this girl understands, I'm going to keep doing it. I don't care how wacky I seem, because it blows my mind the shit she can understand. And but anyways, but she has that pool out there too, and that little blue pool I'd gotten her for swimming in, or standing in, or whatever when it's hot. And then all she wants to do is drink it like it's a pool thing. And then even the squirrels, the cats, it's like, and I kept seeing, it's like, okay, well, it's like our little pond out back. But now I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe it's got a bunch of toxic stuff in there, and it is really bad for her. So I'm going to dump it out. But every time, I mean, that is her favorite thing to drink. And I always think, like, I go up and watch her smell water and stuff, and I think like she would know that that would be something in there that it would be bad for her. But I don't know if that is what is, you know, I mean, with the allergy, I fucking don't know. And we did sit outside yesterday because she was having a fit. I only wanted to do, I swear to God, was lay on the couch and watch Bella Lugosi or something. But so she wanted to go outside, and the fucking fuckery with the people over there blowing shit up, I couldn't fucking believe it. I could not believe it. I kept thinking that's got to be a gas line. We're about to have a huge fire. Like the explosions was insane. And then to me, it's just like the neighbors just, nobody's even outraged. And some of them, like I'm a couple houses away from this. Some of those people live next door. Like it's right next to them. And the people across the street from me, where they've built all these houses right behind them. So where those people had all open field, where they just had a view of the mountain, now all of a sudden all they've got is houses just stacked right up their ass. And then sitting back there blowing them up. I'm sure people's houses got to be shaking. And everybody just like, it blows my motherfucking mind. And I saw a video yesterday too, where the one woman who was showing how she had moved into a place that was out, and now they're just tearing it up and making a target right in her backyard. And she's just like, oh, and it's the noise, it's bullshit, man. And I know they're doing these developments all over the place because I think part of it is to show us. It's to just, and what I just keep seeing is what people will accept blows my mind. And it is all just because they think that they're gonna get some benefit, and that's just the way things are. And it's like, no, this is what you accept. I mean, the one guy from the HOA, because now there's only 2 people in the HOA, because it's bullshit, is gonna go away, and one of them has been on it for a really long time. And it's like, okay, so I don't want to say anybody's committing crimes or anything, but I mean, there's some shady shit. There's shady deals that go on when these people, something with the roads and stuff. Like, I don't know, but it's some bullshit. And that's why I wonder, like, is this one person just stay on there because they don't want anybody to know about this? And like how, because that was one thing that really got some panties in a bunch when I started saying, who made the deal with this developer? Who made a deal about these roads? Like I was pushing for that. I was like, this is some bullshit. I'll leave the HOA and I'll go with the neighborhood and I'll start going. But nobody does. Nobody gives a fuck except me. And it's just like, this is mental. And he's even, because he asked me the other day, because I'm supposed to be the event planner, and then there was all the quarantine lockdowns, so we can do shit. And so then and it's that kind of stuff too. It just how serious. Oh my god, it became so serious, and we need plexiglass walls, we need this, and it's like, what, you guys, this is it. What? I mean, when this first started, I really was shocked how many people took it so serious. Like, I was really shocked how they could scare people with the flu. Like, it blew my motherfucking mind. It's like, you bitches could never work in a hospital, I'll tell you that right now. And I was just like, what the fuck? So that right then I kept being like, okay, this is weird. These immediately I could see, I wasn't with my people. And so then but once this developing just went full bore, I mean, once they started putting, like, just blowing shit up, and I started complaining about it, and these giant ass trucks going past my house on this broken ass road. We're supposed to pay millions out of our own fucking money. And now there hasn't been any of those big trucks. They're going the other way. They're not going past my house. And probably because they said I was complaining. But she wouldn't talk to me. He came up to me the other day and asked me if I would start planning the 4th of July thing. And her name's Kelly, too. And I said, yeah, tell Kelly, call me or email me or whatever. I can help. I can do whatever. And she won't. But I knew, because I had complained and she just wouldn't answer me. Like, she would respond at first, but then all of a sudden she wouldn't answer me. And it wasn't like I would complain every day. It was like, I think I've complained 3 times, maybe 4. It wasn't, I mean, like, I could probably pull up all the emails, but, I'm real. Like, I'm not gonna fucking not, I'll say what I gotta say. So, anyways, and, in a world where people won't say what they gotta say because they're protecting, their own, image of themselves, or they are protecting other people's feelings or something, I don't know about that. I don't think that's a good way to live. I think people have got themselves into being so fake and so phony that they don't even know themselves. Like, I don't see, how is it that hard to understand yourself? Like, I don't know, especially, I don't know, because it goes through the healing. I gotta just, start seeing more of, like, where people are, and remember, what it was like. But, I'm further down the thing, and I know there's other people going through the different parts that can talk about them. Like, to me, it's more like, I am showing, like, keep going, you keep going, and it gets better and better and better. That's what I feel like. Is like, I can remember, and I can have compassion. I mean, I'm not trying to be judgmental of people, but people have to have the desire to be deeper, to see them, to want something more or whatever. And it just is, so many people are just so comfortable blaming somebody else for their feelings. And we had so many talks about that this weekend too. It was really cool. We had so many good talks this weekend, and so many good talks with all different people. And one of the things, even when my granddaughter was sitting there, and my ex was talking to her, and then I started saying something, and then I was like, it was something about, doing, having good boundaries. Doing too much for people isn't good for the other person. And the toxic way that those relationships can develop is very codependent. Like, your friend always needs you to do this thing, and you feel so good because you rescue her, you're always doing it for her. But then at a certain point, she's not developing and learning how to do it for herself. So you keep running in and doing it for her. And then after a while, you start feeling taken advantage of. And instead of you feeling like you're saving her, you're feeling like she's taking advantage of you, become resentful. But she's never learned how to do it. You never told her how to learn how to do it because you were so busy being the savior. So it's not just this other person. It's both people. And that's what people got to see. It's not just there's a narcissist you were married to. You played a role. You gave him a way to become a narcissist. You were the one who wouldn't set good boundaries. You were the one who was willing to take what you could get so you could feel, a second of love or something, which is the relationships, but people are so especially so many trying to save these relationships, but so many relationships are developed and they're not healthy relationships. Like somebody starts liking you just because of the way you look or something. Even like, it is good to have things in common with people. And, and to me, that is, you want to develop and you want to find people you're in alignment with. You need to develop yourself, figure out what you're good at, figure out what you like to do, and focus on that. And then you will start finding people that are similar to you around you. Your friends become like you. That is it true. Like that's why drug addicts have such a hard time breaking free from their friends so that they can change, because you start surrounding yourself with people that are like you. And when you make big changes, it may take a while for those ones to go and for other ones to come. But your friend group will become like you. But so if you are, I got to think of what I was saying about that, because it seemed like I needed to explain it more of, man, I am completely gone blank. So, anyways, when we were talking to my granddaughter about making healthy boundaries, because she's firstborn child to a teenager, and so she's very driven, and she's already having that at college. And I heard her also talking to her mom about something with the sorority fees and stuff. So I said, are sororities, do they have some unethical money things going on? And she was like, yeah, because they'll say you have to pay this, and then they'll say you have to pay it, you didn't pay it yet, even if you already paid it or something. Like there's just all sorts of fees. And I was just thinking that is just that university way, get the kids to, because the kids, they go to college, they want to be around, part of the building those fraternities or sororities or whatever is like making a little home away from home. So you start like having it's more of a home environment, with your like brothers or sisters or whatever, and there's rules and stuff like that. And and I don't even know all of the stuff with the one thing about the Greek housing or whatever. I watched this show that was on about fraternities and sororities and stuff, and I saw like, oh my gosh, these kids, they it's like they try and develop a home and home rules or something, but they have to pay a lot of money to be in those things. And sometimes, they can't afford it and stuff. And I was like, man, the way the university does that kind of stuff, because really any group of kids could just go rent a place and, do the same thing, have a home environment, just have rules, and they could even get a house mother or whatever. And, I'll pool their money together when they get their loans instead of paying these big fees at the other ones. And but see, they do all that stuff like the university with the Greek letters, like they promote these ones instead of really just promoting a healthy way for kids to be healthy there. It's all about just taking and taking and taking. And when I heard her saying that, I was like, man, they're just trying to put her in debt, and she hasn't even gotten out of school yet, man. And it isn't even just with the school loans, because they get the school loans to pay for the fees for their places to live. So and then you pay them, and then I don't know. It seems like it's just all a sham. But all of the things that are a sham are going to keep coming up into where we see them clearly. The more you're paying attention. I mean, it takes a while, and each person catches on as they catch on. But the more and more that is exposed of just this corrupt, just blowing cities up, taking money from kids, all of this stuff, and there's more and more stuff of people being arrested, of people like in our judicial and stuff. So all these people keep going down. I hear more things with celebrity ones too, of things going on. What was the other one? That Kate Winslet one was weird. Like, man, some of these people, like even the recent Nicole Kidman that I keep seeing footage of. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just all these people. I just feel like they just pull clones out. Like, I don't know. The whole thing is just weird. This place is so weird. And then when you see these pictures of the giants, and this one person was talking about that insane asylums. They think that insane asylums were built when the Tartaria was taken over, and they killed the people and were burning down their cities or whatever. That the people who would talk about it would get put in insane asylums. And that is where they were taking all of the kids and sending them out in orphan trains. And I don't know. There's all sorts of different things that people are saying about all of the hidden history and stuff. It's interesting to listen, and it's crazy, some of this old footage. Oh my gosh, some of the footage of buildings and stuff, and these giant people, and the Bigfoot people, and all of the stuff. But I know we're going to go back and start living, more like around different kinds of people and beings, only in a respectful manner, not out of fear. And but that is the raising the vibration. That is the accepting, and we got to start out little by little. And I know that has something to do with these really strange, unusual people coming to the surface all over. And especially in confidence. That one is so freaking adorable. The one who looks like the hedgehog. Oh my gosh, she's so adorable. And she has she's like got this cutest little petite body where she looks kind of like you would see her. She reminds me of when you would see a marching band, and it would have the girl out there who would be doing the spinny thing, the little marcher girl. I don't know why, that's what her body looks like to me. Almost like this, not like a gymnast, but like those the twirler girls. And then she has this very unusual hairline, and then she has these giant specs. And then this back part of her hair looks like this long, beautiful, brown, wavy hair. And she's just so unusual, but I just love how she just owns it. And she's only 24 years old. And she, to me, I still say, she could really make money off of creating a character, whatever that character would be, if it was to do parties or whatever. And plus how much you could educate, but how much, the whole thing is where people stare, or kids stare, is they stare because it's something they haven't seen. And that is where I think people start embracing their uniqueness, their authenticity. Stop trying to be like other people. Don't be fearful of who you are and try and blend in with the crowd. Claim your weirdness, claim your, be your authentic self. The world needs more of authenticity, so that is how we can grow and expand. Everybody trying to be the same, and especially this artificial, phony sameness, that isn't helping with growth in humanity. That helps with them of keeping control over us, because we stay small, we stay scared, easily uncontrollable. And so it is why each person on the each person has to work on themselves to get themselves into that position of feeling really confident in themselves so they can show themselves and not worry about if somebody doesn't agree with you or laughs at you or thinks you're weird or whatever. And to really start understanding the things that people think are weird are just because they don't know or see. But the more that you can be confident in who you are, the more that helps them, because it kind of plants a seed so that at some different points in their life, those seeds come out to remind them, to help them grow. And so even if somebody can laugh at you, at some point and think you're a weirdo, it could be a year later, all of a sudden they see what you saw and they're completely on board. Like, so don't get caught up in like, oh, I've got to agree with them because they don't see what I see. They need you to see other things to help them see. So even if they can't see it, and the Emperor's New Clothes, like my favorite book when I was a kid, you need somebody to say, hey, that guy's naked. What are y'all looking about? What are you talking about? You need somebody to call out the bullshit so that everybody can start to see it. And even if people can't see it in the beginning, but the point that at some point they'll be able to see it. And that is what I'm saying. So many people are going to feel shame because people saw it before them, because that is part of ego. And there's so much about getting control of your ego, mastering your emotions and thoughts and stuff. And these are the kind of things that cause you to need to do that. It is a creation of those events to lead us into this time where we're going to need those skills in order to go on and continue into this realm as the age becomes more defined into that frequency of love and acceptance. You can't exist comfortably if you're about hate and division in a place that is all about love and unity. Just like how it's so uncomfortable for all of us who see that now to be in existence in this place where it's all about this hatefulness and stuff, because it just eats you alive. It's that the PetSmart video stuff, but now that's going around everywhere. Amy has sent it to me, and I was like, man, I don't even want to see any more dead animal things, God. And as soon as because they'll catch me on these videos on the FYP pages, some dog or so, they just catch you and you start watching, and then they just start sending you a zillion of them and you start seeing horrific things. And like, people are doing such cruel things. Like, I just saw a video of a woman who she found a dog in a trash bag in the high heat out there, and it still lived, and she had it, and she's kept it all night, and it's doing good. And she said all it wants to do is just snuggle and be held and stuff. And it's little tiny. And it is, man, people are just so cruel. And all this stuff in PetSmart, and they're putting birds and hamsters, like all of these different things. I don't know. I mean, they could be putting puppies and kittens out there too. But, they sell a lot of fish and birds and reptiles and stuff. And so they just put them out in the dumpster. And they don't put them out where they can escape, where they can get loose. Like, why the hell? Why wouldn't you just, like, if you didn't want the bird there, why wouldn't you just let the bird go free? Why would you go and lock it in a box and then put it out in a trash dumpster? And people go and find these things. And the same with the fish. Like, why in the world, even if you put those out on your sidewalk and just put a today's special free, we got too many betas, everybody take a beta home with you. And besides the fact how many little tanks you would sell if you did that, you'd increase prices. But instead, their CEO opts to just throw them in the garbage. It is like this whole way of this world as consumerism. Don't be bothered. Just, consume, consume, consume. Man, I was seeing my vacuum. My daughter got me this little vacuum. You had to charge it up all the time. And it doesn't vacuum very much, but and you can take this one part out, and then you got a handheld one. And so the vacuum thing just fills up and fills up all the time. Like every time you use that thing, you got to clean everything out, all that stuff. And it's just like, man, this world though, how it just can consume and consume and consume and consume, and it just, it's so toxic. It's just is so disgusting. And the people that push for that, the people that make money off of it, the people who sell plastics and shit, people who invest in that kind of stuff, and they don't give a shit if it makes the world die. They don't give a shit if it makes people sick. You know, they just don't care. Then they'll invest in drugs that people will take when they're sick. Like that is the way these people's mentality is. It's all about them and what they want. And that is a soul's for one thing, it can be a total role, but it is also a soul's perspective of being able to learn and grow. Like they have to come from all different ways, you know. But man, the stuff with the animals and nature, that is a hard one. Is you awaken and you just see how people just don't give a fuck. And so anyways, as uncomfortable as that is for us, is like, oh my god, this place is miserable. Like I know so many people are just like, oh my god, I just want out of here. This place is horrible. I want out of this hellhole. And that is what it's going to feel like to the ones who hold on to that energy of hatefulness when it switches and everybody's all like lovey, and you know, we greet each other with hugs and smiles, and you know, we're all pleased to visit, and you know, it's just going to be such a much more developed place, and it's going to be so much more compassionate. People aren't going to feel so horrible about themselves all the time. And but the people who push that other, see, it's going to be way too uncomfortable for them. So that is going to be a big switch. So it's either going to be you have to heal, you have to start doing better, or you just would be miserable. You just won't be able to keep doing it. And right now we're in a time to change. So even no matter how many times we're like, fuck this place, I want out of here. Well, it's going to flip for us. And we're going to get to experience that other side. But the people who are enjoying this part, and just like, you know, I mean, there's people who like division. There's people who like to argue. And so those people, you know, is going to become super uncomfortable for them. So anyways, and I still say there's a lot of people who are saying like right at this time where things could flip. I don't know if, you know, yesterday when the banks closed, I don't know if there was any drama, and I don't know if they'll open on Monday. Who knows? Who knows what the hell is going to happen, but it's all going to happen. We don't know what day, what time that it's going to happen. The money is going to crash. And, my daughter, you know, she is so much, not just the sunblock, but the bank and the paying the house, and, you know, how far are you behind and stuff, and what are they going to do? And it's like, you know, I can't sit here and take a knee to them. Even if they end up, if I lose this battle too, it's going to be the third one. And, you know, I fought them on the first house. I fought them on the second house. And I'll fight them on this house. But I'm not going to, when I hear a judge, and plus I've known since 2020 this was going to go down. The dollar was going to crash and stuff. But then when a judge is coming out and saying they don't have a leg to stand on, they are committing crimes by trying to force us to pay their debt because it's illegal. And, all of that stuff, I got to stand on that side of the wall, you know, the line in the sand, and I got to stand. I can't just bend over and be like, okay, I'm scared. Even if I feel scared, even if I feel like, okay, well, if I lose it, you know, and still, even if they somehow Monday immediately they put it through court and get a foreclosure because Washington State is some bullshit. Then they still, like, I could fight it. And when I was looking at the affidavit thing, I was like, man, I don't know that I want to do that, because that, to me, it seems like I am still saying that I participate when I look it up. And I don't want to participate. And if they have to take my house to do it. But to me, when even after they say, and if they get a court to say, okay, we're foreclosing, then there still is a period of time. They can't do it that fast. And anything can happen in that time. Like, they can't just force you out of your house the first day. And I don't know, the first time, even when I left the house, because I was fighting them and fighting them and fighting them. It was Chase Bank, so I can't wait to see those motherfuckers go down. And it was when I got my brain injury. I think this is getting cold. Hold on. And no compassion whatsoever. And said, too bad that they were going to take the house. And because I had lost my nursing license and was going on disability, and I needed them to change the price, or the house payment amount per month. And they said no, because I didn't make enough, or whatever their thing was. So they said they were taking my house. And so, and oh man, there was a fight. Like, that went on and on and on. Like, I was really fighting hard. And then, I mean, I went to Olympia, to the Capitol. I went and talked to senators and stuff. It's some bullshit what the banks can do. And then that one, by the time I did leave, once I was like, fuck this, I gotta find a place. I've got dogs, I gotta find a place. And they started saying I abandoned the house. They expect you to stay there and take care of it until they're done. I've heard of people being in the house 3 years at once it was foreclosed. I've heard of people being the house foreclosed and the people still just live there. They just still live there. And so, it's all, it just all depends on so many things. And then the second one, it was the same thing. I was fighting them and fighting them. The only thing with the second one is they auctioned it immediately. They sold it and told me I had to be out within a couple days. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll tell you, if they come in and do that, I'll take the goddamn fence down. If they think I'm going to leave any, I'll take my appliances. I did it at the other house too. We had just put in so much stuff. We were redoing that house so much. And I don't even remember. It was something, because because that was his house. His whole thing was a whole nother thing. That was his whole thing. But all of the appliances and stuff that I had just bought, I turned around and sold them. I'll do the same damn thing here. I'm not going to, and then I'll take that money and use it to get a truck, take the stuff I want. And then I'll go find because it won't be that long until the silver will have a lot of value. I'll just go find a little farm somewhere and, move out there. I'm not going to sit and stress about it, especially when, and I don't know if that is part of what the universe is trying to show me by all of these floors, or the foundation or whatever, to just get so waterlogged that it's like sinking or whatever the hell's going on, which I think is going to cost a lot of money to do. So anyways, I don't know. You just don't ever know where you're supposed. You got to just watch the signs and know that when some door closes, when something ends, something else begins. And so no matter what goes on with the house, if it is something else will happen. And I'm not saying that to like all of the different homes. Every single person's on their own journey, and some people, they came to experience what they're experiencing, is to not have a home or whatever. That is what they came to experience. It wouldn't happen to them if it weren't. And so much too, when I see so much talking about what was this one? It was some about a murder or something. And it's people, God realized like nothing can happen to you that wasn't always going to happen. It's supposed to happen the way it happens. You can't hide from what's supposed to happen to you. And it can't happen to you when it was supposed to happen to somebody else. It can only happen to you. Your stuff will only happen to you. And it could be murdered. It could be a car crash. It could be any of the things that you don't want to happen could still be what happens. And that, like, I sure the hell wasn't thinking, oh, when I think I've got it all going on, I'm going to suddenly get a brain injury and my whole world's going to flip upside down. You don't know, but you got to go with the flow. You got to go with what happens. And you can't sit there. The longer you sit and hold on to what you wanted to happen or what you wish would have happened, the more time you're wasting, the more energy you're wasting with keeping up with what's going on with you. And so you got to stay present. So anyways, I've just learned that over all of these different things. And so whatever's going to happen with the house, you know, I don't, I mean, I don't have the $3,000 to hurry and pay them real quick anyways. And, I don't know. I'm just going to trust the universe no matter what. Even if this house is not going to be my house much longer, I'm going to trust the universe. It's all like through all of the things, even the stuff about this other person and everything, it's all about trusting the universe. Everything in your stuff is about, paying attention to what they're telling you, listening to the signs and, pay attention to all that stuff. And then trust what they're telling you is right. Don't fight against it. Don't fight against them, because then you're taking yourself off to another timeline because you're not in trust yet. So you got to relax into it. Even if things seem like, oh my God, we want to grab on, we want to be tense, we want to be scared, and hold on. It's all about fear. And everything in life is just showing you more and more. You got to just relax. Everything's going to be fine. You got to go with the flow. Man, maybe this isn't going to be your place much longer. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be, my place for long. I have no idea. I know no matter what, it's not going to be my year-round home. No matter what, I from the time I came to it, it was always going to be an Airbnb rental place that I would just come sometimes. And I thought I would get stuff done faster. I wasn't expecting quarantine and shit and sick dogs and all that stuff. So you just don't know what the hell, life's going to hand you, and you can't sit and have a fit with everything that goes on. This is all stuff that you designed, for one thing, for yourself. And so sitting and having a fit at everybody else, being mad of how things are going for you, you need to go spend your time in meditation and ask yourself, why is this happening the way it's happening? What is it I need to know from this? What do I need to learn? How do I get past this? And the things that you go through, you do grow past them. Because remember, every single thing is temporary. It's impossible for things to stay the same. And so the more you work on you to get better, the more things will get better. But the more that you need to be shown, that you need to learn to trust, then, it's just like different pathways. And that is what, to me, where I think is like the timelines, what people talk about, because you have the one where you know and you trust, and then you have the one where you don't, and you have to learn, So anyways, I've already been talking a while, and there was so many things all yesterday afternoon. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't finish saying that. I didn't finish saying that. So anyways, I think that I'll just keep saying more things as I go and they come to me. Because I know there was something yesterday. I was like, oh man, I didn't finish that, but now I can't think of it at all. So I can only think of the things that come loud in my head. It's like it's like, I don't know, they take over my brain or something, and they just make those things loud. And even when I'm trying to, I can't hear or see what I can't hear or see. I can only hear or see what's, being loud in my head. So anyways, who knows oh, today's Friday. Today is Friday. Oh, yeah, because I just remembered that too, because I was like, I kept thinking today was Saturday. And then I saw somebody talking about Friday the 19th, and I was like, wait, okay, so yesterday was Thursday. That was my daughter's birthday. So why do I think it's Saturday? Today's Friday. And then I went and looked. I was so confused, and it is Friday the 19th. So today could be, that's the one day that time traveler said. And I don't think it was just the time traveler. And the one time traveler who said about the financial crash, he was right. A couple of months ago, he said to the day that the first bank would close or something. And so he's saying that is, because I think there's several time travelers, but this one that said about the financial thing, he's saying today that it's going to, and then it's going to get real ugly for a bit. And I don't know, there's just going to be more and more crazy things, because there's something else. There's a lot of weird stuff, like there's this guy, because there was another guy who keeps predicting the volcanoes, and he said there would be today, and there was a volcano, a 7.5 earthquake that happened today that caused, and I can't think of where it was, but it caused a tsunami over in Indonesia. And so there's that activity going on. And then, and I still don't know if that was a real thing, the Hawaii volcano. If they really is a volcano going and they're not talking about it, or if that is a fake created picture that or video that somebody has made. So it's a thing you just don't know. But and even when they do use them and stuff, sometimes I think they're just trying to create fear. And how much of this stuff are they trying to create prophecy in order to get people to think it's the end of the world, when it's not the end of the world? It's the end of their world, the end of the world they created. But they can get these people convinced, like when these things happen, that they're going to die, and get them all to be scared, just scared little ants. I swear to God, that's all they ever do. So anyways, we'll see how it goes today. Hopefully today, then I don't have to worry anything about my house, and then I'll finally be vindicated. I told you the money was going to crash. We didn't have to worry about it. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed. Today, things go down with the money. At least we'll have that behind us. But I keep seeing things too. The World War III, that's going on currently. There's so much shit. Like, I don't know. It's all leading to the end of a certain lifestyle and the beginning of a new lifestyle. So, and the more that people walk into it, like the more that people for themselves leave the school and start going towards the energy, the more they're going to have an easier time than when the schools just don't open and the kids are all lined up out there like, where's the bus? Where's the school? And the school doesn't open. Like, who knows how it's going to go down, but I don't think the schools are going to open. Even when they start back with this other, they could go and take some buildings, and start some other kind of things. But Trump kept talking about the private school things. And now it makes sense. When he was saying it in the beginning, I thought, what is this kind of rich asshole thinks we can all go to private school? And now I know what he's talking about, because, government is not teaching your kids. They're indoctrinating your kids. So you want your kids to learn shit, you're going to have to pay for it. And so, but he was going to give vouchers and stuff for people to get a better education. So there's going to be things that are going to occur. It's not going to be just like people are just left out there. Like, I don't think people could even figure out what to do. People are so reliant on trying to figure out, who and what they are. It's crazy. Just start paying attention on that and start watching how people, will try and be like somebody else because they don't know who and what they are. So the more, just to me, I'm going to keep saying, just keep trying to figure out who and what you are. Oh yeah, because it's when you go and you start meeting people that are more like you. Yeah, you pull in people that are more like you, and it will make things will be things that just will keep improving for people. The more that they focus on themselves, it may be hard, it may be uncomfortable, but the more they do it and the more they heal their shit and the more that they discover who they are, the happier they're going to be, the more fulfilled they're going to feel. And yeah, some relationships may end, but there's so many relationships that are not built on a healthy foundation. They're built on flimsy. And those are the relationships you need to let go, and start growing in other directions, because there's so much stagnation in people's growth. And people have just accepted that that's just the way it is. But we can demand change for ourselves. We can demand we want more for ourselves. And as we want more for ourselves, the more that will penetrate out into society, the more it will be, a tone will be set and things will go in a certain direction. But it all starts with us healing and setting a higher standard for ourselves and loving ourselves and putting that love out to others and not needing anybody to love you back. To just know that it is, you are what you put out. So if you are putting out fear and hate and stuff, and I guess there's a new Target campaign thing, and this artist and his drawings that are now on all this stuff, and his stuff it's very toxic. It is, but in one of his things is something about I'd rather put out rather than create love, I'd rather put out fear or something like that. And that is the thing, is that there's a lot of people that would rather put out fear. So, love is going to become, right now it's fighting against that, the people who like fear. But love overcomes. And I had just seen somebody who said they were channeling some galactic fighter or something. And they said that they have won, that everybody is, they've got the royals, the bloodlines, and all that stuff are controlled, and that they can't hurt us anymore and stuff. So I don't know. There's still some sort of chemicals in the air and stuff. So I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I'm just gonna every single day just hope that everything changes today. Hopefully the banks crash and that just starts everything tumbling the other direction. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed all day long. I'm happy it's Friday, so now we can watch. I'm not gonna be disappointed. No matter what, I'm not gonna be disappointed if we get to Friday afternoon and nothing happens. And Sunday afternoon, that's always my worst. All Sunday, it'll be like, I just want, you want that announcement. You want that alarm to come on and them to tell us, stay in your homes. Like, come on, hurry up. So anyways, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Another weekend to go through. Next weekend, my daughter is supposed to be coming. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, nobody will be able to do much, if anything. When the banks crash, we're all going to be kind of stuck for a while because there's not going to be any way to move money. We're going to be, what are we going to do until that quantum one starts. So anyways, we'll see. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.